for God's sake.
Promotional footage for games is a bit like your mother telling you how wonderful you are. Every decision made after being told sweet lies from someone you trust is based on the presupposition that they're not lying. Invariably, like everyone who ever claimed to love you, they are.
If tomorrow never comes.
And in actuality, the actual content of the subject, whether it's an edited image or an entire video made up of vacuous mouth-watering sugar candy from the teeth of Gabe Newell, reflects on the product or subject about as accurately as a drunk firing an arrow into a crosswind. Advertising in its very nature is a sexy lie designed to provoke your lady boner and send your fist flying towards your wallet, so why would video game marketing be any different? If spaceships, lasers and aliens aren't selling something in the video game industry, sex is. And whilst the awesomeness of perpetual sci-fi sexiness is attractive outright, it's not always best mechanism for which to apply your customer savvy. After all, we do have a choice in things we buy and we have our own reasons for buying them. But for those who can't make a decision either way, there's promotional material. Take a look at Far Cry 3, a game that is so poorly represented in its promotional material that Eurogamer's original written review didn't actually include any new footage whatsoever. That's a bit like accepting an arranged marriage based on a photograph of a woman with Scarlett Johansson's face sellotaped to the body of a fat hulking lady sumo. It's about as useful to the consumer as a review written by someone who's actually more trying to market the game than critique it. Oh wait. Not that I want to waggle my finger at Ubisoft and Eurogamer exclusively, because whilst fluffing up still imagery with more anti-aliasing than a Chinese supercomputer is 2012's way of lying like your mother, 2010 saw the perpetual use of bloom. Bloom is a bit like smothering a camera lens in Vaseline and taking a photo of yourself. Although it makes everything look completely terrible, it hides and smooths imperfections that might make your product risk scrutiny. The most obvious or at least funniest use of post-bloom is in Russian Megalith 1C Company's Men of War series, which, although brilliant, markets itself about as honestly as a PR for Italian ex-Prime Minister Berlusconi. Bloom and AA are my two largest culprits in this crime against the consumer. It's not like we care though, because as far as I can tell, reading comments on the Eurogamer review of Far Cry 3, which includes such gems as, "Oh, that really surprised me, I'll have to give this a go," and not enough of, "Wait, there's not even one fucking criticism of the game here, nor one single original screenshot," so I'm going to apprehensively assume that we as consumers love being lied to. I mean, it's not like we've got anything else to spend our money on. I mean, judging from the screenshots I've seen of most reviews of Far Cry 3, my GPU isn't capable of actively vignetting everything I'm looking at like some first-year photography project from the creative minds of Derpina and co. It's a lie, plain and simple, and it's designed to make you think something will look more fantastic than it actually does. The problem arises when the imagery is further perpetuating an actual critique of the game. We should be asking questions like, why doesn't this game look like Exhibit A? And why does the draw distance look substantially worse? Other questions include, why doesn't anyone mention the patchy grass in areas, horrible assets in places, terrible low resolution textures, a horrible geometric polycount, an overbearing GUI that makes objects see-through, the location of every enemy on your fucking minimap within 5 fucking mile radius, the existence of a fucking minimap in the first place, and other various criticisms of any game that are so often overlooked because something is just fun. It's no wonder people don't take video games seriously as a form of high arts. When supposed professional critics wash away any and all downfalls of any product under the pretext of fun. Playing with my balls is fun, but is not up there with the magnum opus of Park Chan-wook film or the poetry of Christopher Marlowe. As critics, we're supposed to critique, and a critic without critique is a bit like a sandwich without any bread. It's just 2 pieces of ham strung between some lettuce. What's the fucking point? So whilst games like Mass Effect 3 on PC have their terrible textures excused just because people want to harp on about the closing of an epic adventure they've invested half their lives into and end up getting scores like the 100 out of 100, it was fun, one has to wonder how all that happens when the entire community basically have to invoke World War III because the ending was so bad 6 months of violent sexism happened and 2 heads of BioWare left the fucking company. 100 out of 100? Oh well, you know, that's good. He lied. So what the shit is going on then? Well, whilst reviewers are being consistently considered risible by theatregoers and even fucking music critics, "This song is good because I liked it," other media outlets like Kotaku get to exploit the sweet succulent gossip that surrounds the whole thing. Why don't people trust reviewers? That's a good fucking question, and given that whilst right now I'm not, but generally I am a reviewer, I could get on my knees and beg you to cherish the vacuous stream of opinion I fart in your general direction. I won't, because it's all opinion. We're able to constantly give games 9 or 10 out of 10 even if they're about as technically competent as a 5-year-old in a nuclear submarine because professional critique is nothing but opinion. Or is it? The quick answer is no it isn't, you moron! Personally, I would define an argument as the articulation of a theory in the form of coherent, persuasive prose designed to utilise clear and constructive evidence through which to convince a third party. You can break down arguments into their native propositions, deriving inferences from sources of information with which the writer used to reach their conclusions. If the argument has no sources based in fact, then it has no evidence to support their claims. The argument is shit, and it should convince you about as well as a guy in a pub telling you the Queen is a lizard. Given that, how convincing of a game's quality is promotional material? And further to that, how convincing of a game's quality is the notion that it was fun, or that I played it having been personally invited by Activision to a 3-day press event where they clenched softly on my balls and massaged my prostate? Argument compromised, avoid like the fucking plague. The problem isn't that reviewers are dishonest nowadays, it's that fun is a legitimate reason to rate a game 100 out of 100. It doesn't matter if it's buggy, so long as it's playable, and it doesn't matter if it's ugly or looks terrible on PC. If the reviewer doesn't care about that, he's within his rights to neglect those facts, although I think they should be noted, but seldom are. There's no flat-out dishonesty in video game critique, that's not the problem. The problem is there's no critique in video game critique. So the next time you're reading a review or watching a video review on some of the larger sites, ask yourself this: did the guy actually say anything bad about the game, and what does it look like in the screenshots? You'll be surprised what you find. Now, I don't mean to say that every video game reviewer on the planet is abhorrent. Whilst they sound like a pseudo-intellectual naysayer who should be hung from the rafters for saying that which we already know, don't you think it's about time critics got out of bed with marketers and stopped being afraid of showing the postulating blemishes on the faces of products they're beginning to show the cracks? Nothing is perfect, but not being perfect doesn't make you shit. Tiger Mum out.